Welcome to episode 6 of the Action Takers podcast. I'm your co-host Nate. We got Justin with us today, as always.
Justin, the word. Yes, hi, I'm Justin. That's what my grandma calls me.
Drive, it's about power. We stay hungry, we devour. Put in the work, put in the hours, and take what's ours.
In the world of business, and just in the ability to create wealth out of literally nothing, like out of fucking thin air. And if technology has taught me anything, is that you have the ability to put up a website, sell a product that you don't even have yet, that hasn't even been made yet. You can put it on what is it called? A fucking ClickFunnels account where you pre-sell the item. The people buying it know that you're pre-selling it because they know that it's a good idea. And then you can go out and make a fucking $2 million in sales, and then you just gotta go produce it. And you literally create something out of nothing. It's really remarkable.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and just even not even having a product. I mean, look at what whether you bought a pressure washer, whether you could just go buy some cleaning supplies and be like, go knock, hey, do you need your house cleaned? I clean your house.
Dude,
You could which is essentially almost nothing. You spend $100 on some cleaning supplies and be a house cleaner. You can freaking clean windows, right? Be a window cleaner. You got the pressure washers, pressure wash solar panels and side of buildings and sidewalks, painting, right? You can be a freaking painter. Like, you need your house painted, I'll paint for you. Like you said, you can literally create anything and have a business and get income. I mean, it's just your services or even like a tax accountant, right? They have obviously knowledge to do people's taxes or whatever it is. There's so much stuff that you can literally out of nothing. You don't necessarily need to have a physical product.
It's like the more I dive into business and I'm always chasing cash flow, and that's kind of my goal. It's like when we we're buying real estate and we're always looking for that monthly cash flow, and it just seems like that's not where you make all your money. You make your money in regards to you make some money each month on cash flow, but the overall value of the business, as soon as you start improving it, the business itself is starting to make more revenue. All of a sudden, say you make $1,000 a month, and all of a sudden that business is worth 10x because you've been able to 10x that actual revenue. And it's incredible that someone will give you money essentially for fucking just put in some sweat equity, just change some numbers on an actual spreadsheet, which is crazy. It's I do every winter. I just add a number to our overall sales part of it, and all of a sudden our revenue's higher, which I know is going to be higher in the next 6-9 months. And then all of a sudden I know the business is going to be worth more because the banks are going to evaluate it more. The appraisal is going to evaluate it more. It's just, dude, the more I get into business and the more I learn about it, the creativity of solving someone's problem and then just changing numbers to make things worth more. I sometimes think we just overcomplicate this shit. It's as simple as that sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, everything gets overcomplicated all the time. It's simply of just provide a service, get paid for that service, right? I mean, it's and then, how are you going to scale it? Well, I need to add an employee, and then I can do twice as much. I can add another employee, and I can do 3 times as much, right? I'm it's just that simple of scale. Get really good, you can charge even more for it,
Oh, yeah. So Bradley was saying, you want to scale your business? Do whatever you're doing right now, just do more of it. And everyone's like, what? What do you mean? There isn't a trade trick? Isn't there some course I can take? Is there something I can do? And he's like, no, just double whatever you're doing. Just if you have 10 employees, okay, and you want to double your income or double your revenue or double whatever, just add 10 more people. He's like, just do more of it. And I was like, that's it, huh? That's it, Brad. That's all you got to do, right? Just do more.
Yeah, it is that simple. But yeah, I mean, it's a little bit more complicated than that. But at the heart of it,
I think at the core of it, I think we're always I at least personally, I'm fucking chasing knowledge, chasing frameworks, listening to different CEOs and how did they build this? And they're we solved a problem. We added We sold it. We had some employees to sell more of it, and then we sold more of it, and then we just kept adding people to sell more shit of it. And it's just, then all of a sudden you get this giant company, and you're like overall, yes, it's there. I'm sure there's a few more steps in there, the fucking grand scheme of things, but it just always cracks me up how we, as human beings, or Americans, or whoever, we just fucking, sometimes we take some of that knowledge and we want to make more knowledge. We want more fucking chapters of the book. And it's like, sometimes it's just as simple as that. So anyways, Nate, what's up, man? How's beautiful California?
Man, it's a little cold right now. But I think next week it's going to be hot and it's going to be nice in springtime, but
it's you want to know something funny? And this is partly my fault. And it's your fault too, but I was listening to our podcast and it's like a weekly weather update. I was like, are we the Weather Channel? Like, what the fuck? I think we should go after weather.com. We could go after, Fox News weather. Like, I feel like we could tackle some regions with some sponsorships. I cracked up. So as soon as I asked you that specifically to bring that point up. But
this is a podcast where you can get a little news, you can get a little weather update, and we talk about business. We can talk about anything, right? Because we got to take that action, So I think it's just because I'm here in California, you're over there in Georgia. We got a lot of distance in between us, so it's a good thing. We could talk about just how it's going over there. Bunch of BS, but
The good news is we're officially a podcast. Okay, we did 5 episodes and we were not on any platform at all, and we're there now, kind of, except on Apple. Apple's giving us a runaround, which they typically do. I'm excited about that. I'm excited to be able to listen to us. I don't know if I'm going to listen to us, but I'm excited for people to listen to us, not on YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't want to look at our faces, now you can just while you're driving to work, while you're driving to the gym, wherever you're going, now you can just listen to it. Because I think a lot of people, more people definitely listen, at least for a podcast, right? They want to listen to it in the car. So yeah, having it on Spotify and Amazon Music and all the other platforms, it's going to be cool. So you can get that knowledge or that little insight or whatever, or you just need a good laugh or whatever we're talking about, in the world today.
If you're like bench pressing and you're doing your max, you're doing 225 for the first time ever, okay, because you weigh about $135 and you've never bench pressed in your life. I just want to know if I'm in your ears when you're sitting on that bench ready to go fucking get after it. Because if I am, I need to know about it because it will pump me up quite a bit. If you're doing other things with it, I don't want to know. Okay, if you're shooting some type of film that is uploaded to the internet, I just don't want to know. But I always just kind of cracked up because you don't realize, like, when you produce a podcast, like, people listen to this shit in weird places. Like, are they taking a shit right now? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, I mean, in the car and in the gym, I have to say they're probably the top 2 places that people listen to podcasts. But you never know. People will be at work, in the bathroom. Who knows, really? But as long as you're listening to us, we appreciate it. Don't forget to follow us, subscribe, like, comment, whatever it is on whatever platform you find us. We appreciate it. We're going to grow this thing, one viewer at a time, right? Just like you grow a business, one customer at a time.
I think this is harder. Like, I think growing a podcast is harder. I don't know. Maybe, I mean, at least we have distribution. Someone else is at least someone else putting it out there for us. Because a lot of times, like, as a business, I just pick up the phone and be like, "Hey, bro, you need this?" And they're like, "Nah." And then, it just, with a podcast, I guess I need to be a better salesman about it. One of the young ladies that she helped me out with one of my businesses, and she's like, "Oh, I heard you have a golf podcast. I'm going to take a listen." And I'm like, "What do you do on Sundays?" She's like, "Why?" And I'm like, do you play golf or go to church?" She's like, "Oh, we play golf." I'm like, "Oh, fuck. Okay, cool. You'll be good to go. Like, you're not going to get offended with all the nonsense, all the shit talking I talk." But anyways, I just need to be a better salesman when it comes to the actual podcast. So if you're listening to this, and you're listening to me ramble while you deadlift 400 pounds, tell a friend. Tell a friend.
Definitely. We appreciate it. Yeah. And if you are, go harder. What are you working on?
What? All right. So someone went real hard this week. It's something that everyone reacted to. And I wanted your reaction because it broke up like my world, which was weird because like I'm on Sundays, I generally watch golf. I think was it on golf? I don't know if it was on Sunday or Monday, but it interrupted one of my routines. And Will Smith smacking the shit out of Chris Rock. This was at the Oscars, I think, right?
Yeah, I think so. It is one of those events that they host in Hollywood for those people.
For those, what did you see the video? Did you see all the memes and everything that came out of this?
I've seen the video. Unfortunately, it flooded social media, so it's pretty hard not to watch it because it was just everywhere after it happened. I got a few takes on it. For one, I didn't even know it. Obviously, whatever was going on, Oscars or whatever, I didn't even know it was on. So, whether it was real or fake, after everything, is fake, it was staged, is my opinion. Because of that reason, no one cares about the Oscars anymore. No one cares about these Hollywood elitist actors, because they don't care about us, right? They don't relate to us. And, I feel like a lot of people have gotten to the point where they've just kind of lost their need to be, need to watch these shows, follow these people. So, I definitely think it was a staged thing because look what happened. Now everyone's talking about it. Everyone's, no one knew the Oscars were even going on until that happened. So, especially with all the history that, Will Smith has with his wife, it's like that's the thing that's going to get you going after everything else that they got going on. I think it was just a thing to get everyone talking about it. Cause really, I mean, prior to that, like who knows or who's really caring about anything that's going on with any of those award shows anymore.
It always cracks me up because when I look at incidences like this, like it's a business transaction. It's fucking, you're exchanging attention. You're exchanging you do something wild and crazy and everyone's talking about it. I turned on, I had no clue the Oscars was on. I had no clue that Chris Rock was fucking hosting it. I had no clue Will Smith was up for an award. I had no fucking idea. To be honest with you, I could care less. I could still care less. But the one thing that I saw, I don't know if my credible source was like on TikTok or something. Some guy was breaking it down and he goes, "Who sponsored the event?" And he pulls up a fucking like Pfizer commercial with like Pfizer helps like women with their hair loss or some shit. And it said like the disease that Jada Smith actually has. And he's like, "Listen, motherfucker, like no one knew what this disease was until fucking this happened. Until Will Smith fucking slapped Chris Rock and fucking made everyone Google what the fuck this is." So I think there's something. It has to be fake. It's absolutely fake. In my opinion, it probably revived a couple careers and is just because no one went to jail. You just can't fucking hit people and in the middle of a crowd and fucking sit back. If I would have walked up and slapped Chris Rock in the face, I would have been shot in the face. Okay? By not just security, by one of Chris Rock's boys. You know what I mean? It just, I don't know.
Okay, so even right there. So that happens. Any other, granted, usually they're all TV shows, but reality TV, if something like that happens or even close to happens, there's security that comes around, right? Like all these reality shows, like comes out of everywhere, starts trying to break up the people. Jerry Springer, whatever it was, like it's just a heated argument, right? Like the producers and everyone no one came out of nowhere to go and what if the incident escalated? Chris Rock looked like he was ready for it. Like he had his hands behind his back. Like what else? Why else is he coming up there to give you a hug? I mean, there's either two things: you're either getting a hug or you're about to get hit. And he just, and then even after that, like he had he had to react. Oh, I just got slapped. Most people would be pretty upset and want to defend themselves, right? Like you see someone coming at you, you're gonna move, you're gonna do something more than just take it. Like I don't know, I could be wrong, but I'd like to say most people would either after they got hit have an instinctual reaction to freaking just hit back or do something, try and defend themselves. So it was just obviously it was a real staged event, however you want to call it, you know, a fake stage, real, whatever it was. It was not out of you know, not something that happened in the moment. You know, it was definitely thought about, because even that too, right? Like Will Smith was laughing first, and all of a sudden then he changed. Oh, then he has to go up there, right? And to do that, there's just a lot of crazy stuff to just get some ratings or get some eyes on it, and that's all it is. Like you were saying, everyone now is fighting for attention. You know, TV is down. No one watches TV anymore, right? Ratings are down for that stuff. Everyone's on social media. Well, what did it do? It really brought that to social media. It got them the attention for people to talk about it, right?
Well, it just, what's sad is like there were 2 other awards given out, and like I think it was the first gay man who won a specific award in a specific category, and then like some other like first woman to do something, and it was like those motherfuckers were forgotten. Like all we want to talk about is the 2 boys fucking slap fighting. I've seen Muhammad Ali, you know, played by Will Smith. If he was that angry and that pissed off, why the fuck do you slap someone? Like you deck them. You don't slap them like it's fucking like you're in 3rd grade. Like this isn't it, you know, Will Smith, you're not Chris Rock's mom. Okay, this is not, you know, it's just, I don't know. It's just one of those things that just, we had to talk about. Everyone else is talking about it. I don't want to be like everyone else, but I feel like we would give a different opinion about it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's, well, we talked about it. It is what it is. You know, we have our current events of our podcast.
We got our weather, we got our current events, and now we're going to talk about some cool shit. What do we want to talk about next? What do we got on the agenda?
You know, I think you had some couple things that you wanted to talk about. Obviously, you know, we can get into that, the success, you know, some stuff by Gary Vee. I just finished up his book 12 and a half, which is a pretty good book. You know, his it just has he called it the ingredients, the 12 and a half ingredients, you know, to being successful, happy, you know, because a lot of his stuff is about you know, obviously business, entrepreneurship, and, you know, growing, finding what you want to do, but being happy in what you're doing, right? You know, he talks a lot about, hey, you know, you might not be happy at making $500,000 a year, but you might be happy making $250,000 a year. You know, it's not always about making more money. It's about, you know, being happy, being successful, and doing what makes you happy. Because that's, you know, at the end of the day, you want to have something that's sustainable, not something that you quote unquote get burnt out on. Just for the sake of thinking you need to do it to be successful.
Is this another Gary Vee thing that for everyone that doesn't know who Gary Vaynerchuk is, he's a serial entrepreneur. He missed out on Uber when he had the opportunity to invest because he's buddies with the guys. He wants to buy the jets. He owns an ad agency. He's got a marketing company. He's got what else does he have? He's got all kinds of fucking companies. He started a wine company, like all kinds of craziness. And he's super influential on the entrepreneurs in the world. Like he almost made it cool, which is weird because he's not a cool looking guy. Like he's not one of those guys that's like chiseled jaw, ripped. He's just kind of an average looking dude from like Eastern European. It's just kind of funny, but the thing that like Gary Vee like does is it seems like he talks about a lot of the same thing over and over and over again. Is this something that he's just on a new banter about because he's getting divorced possibly? Or is it something that you think this is something that people need to be paying attention to?
I mean, the cool thing about it, I mean, it talks about all the same stuff he always, you know, usually talks about: gratitude, humility, but what I guess a cool section of the book is he just really broke down scenarios, right? Different scenarios that happen, and just went into how to react, how he would react, So it's kind of a continuation. It was less, from his last book, Crushing It. It was, which was more, giving you things that you can do to grow and be successful. This had those things, but it was, like I said, it was a little bit different, different as far as just giving you those ingredients to handle situations, to be successful, to be happy. So it's a good, like I said, it's a good book. It's a good read. And yeah, if people don't know, Gary Vee is a good person to follow. And a lot of his stuff it's not overcomplicated. Like we talked about, a lot of the things in business isn't super complicated. It's just, doing these things, which a lot of people don't do. Right. And he's big on social media, posting content every day, just doing it, taking action. Right. Because so many people just talk about things and not take the action and do it. So he is a good follow. And someone, I forget which podcast I was listening to, but they pretty much compare it. Gary Vee is like your entry level person to follow for entrepreneurship. Like there's different people for different things. Because I know some people follow him like, oh, I already know this. Gary Vee is definitely the kind of the first person if you're kind of getting into entrepreneurship. And like you said, he made it cool because of how he is. He just dresses like everyone else, just average. He's not walking around in fancy suits and expensive shoes,
He's he's kind of a dork. He cusses, which is, his like thing. He says fuck like every other 6 word. He does. I think what's crazy is I think he says a lot of things, and I think a lot of things that he says are not always true or accurate. And a lot of things that I'm hesitant about Gary Vee is that the things that he does say is just top of mind for him. And whatever's top of mind, and he's just spraying it out there because he's got to get out all this content every single day. So I would caution people when you're sifting through his information, just make sure that, it's something that you can kind of back up with some facts. And if you if you look at his lifestyle, and the way he lives and does business, he's really intriguing, and he's legit. He's a fucking, I don't want to call him Tom Brady of fucking business people, but he's for our generation, he's a guy who you fucking look up to, and is just probably one of the most consistent people I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, exactly. He just, I compare to him putting in the work every day. And that's his thing. He is just constantly going all the time. And which is, it's hard for a lot of people to replicate. A lot of people try and replicate that, right? The whole, putting in the work, I'm going to, wake up early, stay up late, doing all, which it's hard to maintain. And he's been able to maintain it. I think that's one of his, the things that when you, inspirational about him is just you see, he's always doing something, always got something going on. So, there's a lot of good stuff from him. There's a lot of good people out there that have a lot of good stuff. But yeah, he's definitely, like I said, for social media stuff. There are some things he says that are, I don't know, I want to say they're less because of how things are. One of the things that comes to mind is, getting into people's DMs and messaging these different people and about collaborating and all these things. And I think it's what that has done though, is put, people who you gotta, to an extent, you got to collaborate with people that are on your level or maybe just above your level, because sometimes they'll have people, if we message Gary Vee about collaborating, he's not going to give us the time of day, right? We're not even anywhere close. But he uses that of sometimes he tells people to do that, which is, like I said, it's not the best thing to do, because then it just comes to a point of just being annoying of hey, some of these people don't want to get 1,000 messages a day from people that are just starting out about collaborating with them, because what value are you going to really provide them? Or are you, if you can provide some real value to someone, then yeah, all for it. But a lot of people don't. They're just starting there of, hey, let me DM these people and get them to collaborate so I can fill my pot instead of giving they want to take.
So I've got a story about someone who slid into my DMs. Some asshole decided to slide in my DMs and he's like, "Hey man, I listened to your golf podcast. Fuck, dude, it's really good. Like, I think we can just tune up a couple things with the audio and make it even better." Like, and I'm like, "Fuck, awesome. Fuck, call me." He's like, "Let's set up a meeting next week between 9 and 10, Tuesday, Friday, or Saturday." And I'm like, no. Fucking call me. Here's my number. I just sent him my fucking number. I go, call me now or never. If you're gonna fucking slide into people's DMs, be prepared to fucking act based on their schedule and not your schedule. The dude he's like, yeah, okay, yeah, I'll call you right now. So I picked up the phone, fucking guy from Canada, like, likes what we're doing. He wanted to charge us, $100 an episode, and I'm like, we have, 8 listeners. I don't think those 8 listeners give a shit about the audio quality. Anyways, it was just one of those things that I wanted to touch on, that like, I think a lot of people do take people's advice in regards to like the social media platforms, especially with Gary Vee. But if you do slide in the DMs, if you slide in my fucking DMs, I will say, let's do it. Let's do it right now. And because I think a lot of times, like, if you plan and delay that fucking meeting, it's so easy just to fucking go, I'll just reschedule. You know what I mean? Like, it just, I don't know. So enough about Gary Vee. We're giving him way too much attention, okay? You've already sold 6 books for him. It's incredible. I saw this interesting fact on Twitter, and I wanted to share it with our audience because I think it's funny, but also I think it's fucking kind of scary. Did you know in the United States there are $30.8 billion in overdraft fees compared to the amount of property stolen during a burglary, which is $4.8 billion here in the United States? I need your take on that stat.
That's why I switched who I bank with, because of that. Like I felt like every chance this big bank got, they were just charging, and just overdraft fees, and it was just stuff of like I had told them, like, hey, I forget what they're for, because you get these subscriptions, right? And you get and you forget to cancel them or whatever. And this is an account I didn't use, hardly ever. It's just an extra. And I said, hey, do not let anything go through. Like, decline it, because I had switched banks, so I still had some subscriptions that I forgot about.
Yeah.
And so one would pop up. I don't even bank with you guys anymore, but I just left the account open. Do not decline it. Okay. Then something else popped up that I forgot that I didn't change over to my. And the campaign was like, it makes sense. And some people, I'm sure, either have so much money at times, maybe going in and out, that they don't even notice the overdraft fees, or if they do, I mean, it's a big moneymaker for the banks.
Motherfucker, it's like burglary, in my opinion. Like, they came into your account, fucking took your shit because you didn't follow their fucking rules. It's always funny because, like, one tip that I'll give people about overdraft fees is call those fuckers up and go, listen, I saw you hit my account with an overdraft fee. I'm going to go ahead and go and close my accounts, and I'm going to send you the account number that I need you to wire all my money to. And all of a sudden they're like, hold please. And you usually get a fucking manager who's like, oh yeah, we'll wipe out all those fees. Don't worry about that. We'll take care of you. Because those motherfuckers, people don't fucking don't call them on their shit. They're just like, oh well, oops, I'll call him later, or I'll try not to make that mistake again. It's like, holy shit. Like, you lock your doors at night, fucking lock your fucking bank account up from the fucking bankers. $30 billion is incredible.
Yeah, no, it's, I believe it. That and late fees, right? Like, I mean, even some places are cool, right? They give you grace period, 3 days, 10 days, whatever it is. But some of them, man, if it wasn't by, at least for me, because they usually go off Eastern time. So if it wasn't by 9 p.m. Pacific, and that's the thing too. Someone's like, it's only 10 p.m. over here. What do you mean I didn't pay it by midnight, Eastern time? Like, I don't care about Eastern. I'm over here. Like, I paid at 10 o'clock. Why am I getting a late fee? It's like, they try and slip in those late fees too for everything, which is just as bad as those overdraft fees. But yeah, moral of the story then, do, what is it called? Automatic payments, automatic, so you don't got to worry about late fees.
This is your banking tip of the show. It's
financial part
financial
of
advice. It's not financial advice, but it's financial advice.
No, it's I don't even know what you want to call it. Man, yeah, it's crazy. There's a lot of things out there that you would just be surprised of, like what the I mean, like I said, I'm sure if we looked up late fees, I'm sure there's all kinds of crazy things that we can look up that's just charged every year to people. And same thing, even like the TV services were the same way, right? Like, okay, your 1 year special pricing's up, boom, they jack up the price. And some people like don't even, like I said, they don't even pay attention. All of a sudden you're paying $50-$100 more a month for your TV service because your specials ran out, and they don't tell you, of course. And a lot of people just kind of go through like, okay, I'm just paying this amount of money extra every month, and you just got to call them up and say, hey, I'm going to switch over, or they usually find you some other specials they can do to lower your price. But it's a business, like, for a lot of those things.
What a crazy question. What do you think about Bitcoin?
I mean, I don't I have not I don't know much, too much about the cryptocurrency. There's, the Doge and the is it Shiba, the other, the inexpensive ones.
Yeah.
The cheap ones, those are the ones I've kind of more interested in right now, because Bitcoin's, but Bitcoin was there at one time. So it's one of those things like, hey, what's the next one that's going to take off? That's, it's something else to invest in, right? Like, just like anything, which we can even get into economic stuff. A lot of people just don't understand, and why we're having this thing of like Bitcoin, just like the dollar, it's what everyone wants to say that it's worth. The reason why it's so high is because, hey, so many people have decided that they'll take this, or that it is worth that much. Same thing with the dollar, right? I mean, why is a dollar worth $1? Because we say it does. There's nothing that backs it up. The country's printing all this money, and obviously that's why we have inflation. I don't even know if, not to get too sidetracked, but like I saw a thing about the new budget they're proposing is like $5.5 trillion, right? Not that we're already like 20, 30, I don't even know what we're up to these days in debt, but let's just add another 5 trillion just for this year alone. And really cause inflation even more than we already have, right? And I think it's funny because there's a lot of people, I'll see these things of like blaming it on corporate America and oh man, the greed. It's like, no, the reason why we have inflation is because we're printing all this money. We used to have X amount of dollars, right? And then since COVID, we've printed half that. I think it's about 40% of all the money that's currently in circulation in the United States has been printed in the last 2 years. So there's all this extra money. So yeah, things are going to start costing more because we have an influx of money. And I think a lot of people don't understand how, understand that. And I see things blaming all this stuff. Obviously, and then, part of it too is we have less stuff available, right? We don't have enough, we're not producing enough fuel, all the supply chain stuff. But another factor in that why stuff is going is we just have so much extra money. If there's more money available, it's stuff that means they got to charge more because there's more money. And I think some people don't understand that. So that's a long way around about the crypto and about Bitcoin and why it's, worth so much is because, hey, it's a lot more scarce right now. And a lot of people have invested in it and said they'll take it and it's worth something. So if you got in it early, it's a good time. I'm sure it's still going to go up. So, if you can afford to buy a whole Bitcoin at, I don't even know what it's at trading right now, 50,000, somewhere around there. It's probably a good investment, but
if you got 50 grand laying around and you're like, yeah, I want to buy Bitcoin, it's like, motherfucker, what? That's, I think it's a hedge against inflation. I think it's, I don't think it's going anywhere. I'm starting to get more into it. in regards to like just the research and like following people who talk about it a lot and who I trust who talk about a lot of it. There's a newsletter out there. I think it's called the Milk Road. They're talking about crypto specifically, and then Anthony Pompliano and Joe Pompliano. And then they got another brother on there, but they talk a lot about just financial stuff, and their big thing is like crypto is one of their things that they talk about and hit on. I'm part of their newsletter, and I just wanted your opinion. I've got some Bitcoin. I don't have a whole Bitcoin. At some point in time, though, I think it's going to be one of those like hedges against inflation where I just start putting cash in it every single month, where we just deposit, just not a ton, but just a little, just be really, really consistent so that, you treat it kind of like an S&P 500, like an index fund, like a Vanguard fund or whatever, to kind of just try and not miss a wave. So that's what I'm scared of. I have a fear of missing out. That's pretty much all it is. Okay, I missed out in 2017. I missed out in fucking 2020. I just keep missing. And maybe if I just play every single month, I won't fucking miss.
Can't be having that FOMO.
Oh, that's the biggest business killer for me. I have a fear of missing out. I like go and start something or chase something. What are you doing, you moron? So I struggle with that.
A good story of Bradley told about it. This is a long time ago when he'd taken some Bitcoin, and this one was real low. And I think he said he like bought a pizza with it or something. So he's like, man, you look back now, it was like 10 when it was worth $10 or something. So he's like, you look at it now, he spent one Bitcoin on a pizza. It's a real expensive pizza looking at it now. $50,000 pizza.
$50,000 pizza. Yeah. Pretty incredible. What else we got on the agenda? What else do you want to talk about? What else is on our list?
Man, how's you're still doing 75 hard? Still in that?
Oh, dude, it's that was one thing I wanted to recap because I'm gonna be finishing up with it tomorrow. So on 75 hard, part of the thing is like a diet, and part of the diet that I chose was intermittent fasting, and I've been doing that for the entire 75 hard, but I wasn't happy with the results that I got last year. I had intermittent fasted during 75 hard last year, and I had cut a bunch of weight, and it was pretty significant. And this year, it just didn't happen. I don't know if my training style changed because I'm more into like long form fucking cardio, or I'm literally all I'm doing is rowing, which is, by the way, makes you feel amazing. Does not jack you though, like lifting big weights. I can promise you that. Like it, anyways. But yeah, so this entire month of March, I switched to a carnivore diet, and I supplemented it with also fruit. I got the idea from Joe Rogan last year. He did the carnivore diet and about shit his pants every other day, and I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to shit my pants in public. So he was talking about doing it again for a month, but adding some fruit to get some of those carbs and to be able to make you not, absolutely have explosive. Anyways, so I've lost 12 fucking pounds on this stupid diet. It's great. All I eat is meat and eggs, and you could have cheese, dude. I all of a sudden like love fruit. Dude, if you said when's the last time you had a bowl of fruit, I'd be like, when's the last time I was at a buffet? Like that would be the last time. You know what I mean? Like it was always, my supplements were fucking pasta and chips and fucking bagels and pizza. Oh my God, I miss pizza so bad. Or sushi. I didn't realize rice wasn't a meat product. I wish it would, but it anyway, so like 75 hard, I think I have 5 days left on 75 hard. And it is, dude, it is a fucking grind. I am burnt out. It is a mental drain. Like I still, like tonight I got to fucking read. I got 10 pages to read. And it like, God, it really changes your fucking life but it's hard as fuck. I'm almost there, and I can see the finish line, and it's it's gonna be next Tuesday, which I'm gonna celebrate with something pretty cool. But I don't know. What you got? Anything crazy going on?
Nothing crazy. Just still hitting the gym hard. I've just been increasing those sets because that last year, I think I've talked about it. I was working out. I worked out a lot, tracked everything, but I wasn't really pushing myself, and I feel like I didn't do much. So this year, I've really been just trying to hit the gym harder, doing increasing my workout, and eating more, but healthier, and it's going good. Yeah, I know some people that are getting ready to start 75 hard and like, hey, you going to start it? I just need to do it. I just need to start it and do it. And because I know it'd be good for me. And just like you said, it helps you get to another level. Because it's definitely it's more mental, obviously there's physical stuff, a part of it associated with it, but it's definitely a mental thing that really helps you.
Well, it's like one of the hardest is it mentally just sits on your brain, and all of a sudden, like, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. You've only sucked down 64 ounces of water. You got 64 more ounces of water to go. And you're like, I'm going to pee the bed. Like, I'm going to suck down 32 ounces of water before I go to bed, and I'm going to wet myself. Like, that's not good. Like, we don't want to do those. But then just the like overall, like, you have to really prioritize your exercise. You got to prioritize your diet. You got to prioritize, not drinking alcohol. Fuck it. I forgot how many times we're like, Friday night smoking a cigar, and I'm like, oh, I'll just, grab a cocktail or a glass of wine, something with dinner. And you don't think about it, and you're like, fuck, in these, for the last 70 days, shit, it's been tough. It's been real tough. But the results are, dude, it's incredible. Like, the daily selfie, oh my God, I was a giant fatty like 70 days ago. And now I'm like, that guy, he's okay. He's got a little extra work to go, but fuck, we're on our way. You know what I mean? So I highly recommend it, but I highly recommend it to someone that is not going to get discouraged if they fail. I failed last year, and it fucking hurt. It hurt bad. And that's probably why I did it again. But so just prepare yourself to, like, mentally, and then prepare the rest of your family and, like, the rest of your friends. Like, I've got buddies who I'm like, I just don't drink anymore. So it's just not a priority. So, like, one of my buddies is like, I'll stop drinking too. And we stopped drinking. And it's great. Like, every morning you feel like pretty much amazing, which is incredible. So if you have a fucking drinking problem, I'd highly recommend it.
Yeah, and it like, it just focuses you to prioritize things and get more organized and cut those things. I know, cut those things out that aren't a priority in your life, because you got to do all these different tasks every day. And I know, I mean, that's what, one thing that I for the most part, I try and drink a gallon of water every day. So I know when I was doing that more consistently, you just notice a difference when you're actually hydrated. You're, like you say, you just wake up and you just feel different. I mean, you feel better when you are hydrated. So it's like, even that one thing alone, you see a difference of doing that every day, cutting out alcohol and actually being hydrated. So there's a lot of good things that are associated with it.
So pull the trigger. Why don't you do it?
All right, I got to do it then. I got to do it. Just got to go.
Just go. It's hard. Just like, oh God, it's tough. Like, well, shit, you're gonna struggle when it gets a little hotter. I tend to do this in the wintertime, so I can just bitch about how cold it is outside. But dude, you just gotta try it. Like, day 2, you're like, oh fuck, like, this is. Are we sure? Like, we got, like, when is the due date? Like, it's like having a small, it's like birthing a child. Not really, but that's what I can compare it to.
Yeah, and I know a big thing of it is, like, it's being accountable, right? You got to make sure you do, because like no one's checking it. It's on the honor system, and but are you following what you got to do and doing it the right way? And yeah, which is just like, which even kind of the segue into accountability and doing tough things of something that I just want to talk about, of because of some things I've in the last week, having to do some tough things, and things that aren't the funnest, of calling customers when things go wrong, and having to, it's always a tough phone call, right? Saying, admitting that we could have done something better, trying to reach out to them. If you can do anything, when you get those customers say, oh, we're going to take our business somewhere else.
Well, Nate, give a little backstory in regards to, like, give us an example.
No, so we had a customer that just got upset with something that we had done or asked of them, of getting basically just some money for some of the services that we a deposit for getting ready to do something for them, and they for whatever reason that set them off, and they decided that they were going to go somewhere else to get this after we've done some work for them. And it's so they sent this long email, and I made that phone call, reached out to him, left a message, they didn't answer. But yeah, it's one of those things, like I said, it's tough. It's a tough thing to do. It's never a fun thing to do, to make that call, whether they answer or not. And then, being accountable for obviously always taking ownership of what it is, even if it is their fault, you always want to take ownership, and because that'll open them up, and most people will usually come around. If a mistake happens, if something happens, you take ownership of it no matter what, because people know stuff happens, and that's fine. Just own up to it. And and then on top of that, I said, it's not an easy thing to do, but doing it after you do it, you feel better, and doing those tough things, taking action, and being accountable, it really will set you on the right path to being a better person and being where you want to go, because you can easily just blow it off, forget them. But you got to take that action and try and make things better, and be accountable, because if you don't, then that can lead to a road of not being accountable all the time. And like I said, it could go down, snowball effect, in a negative way, instead of building that discipline, building that accountability, and just doing things and putting it in the positive direction, even though it's a negative thing that happened, but build on it, just to be better. Because there's a lot of times that customers are gonna get mad or get upset or whatever. And in this day of age, so many people blow off customer service that people they get upset because they think here it goes again. And if you reach out to them, try and make things better, and just own up to things, people will understand. They'll still do business with you, and they'll even still recommend you. Because it happens. Stuff happens. Stuff is going to happen in business, no matter what. But if you just own up to it and do right by the customers, I'd say probably 98% of the time they're going to be fine with it. They're going to just, make it right for them, and everything's going to be good, and you don't lose out on that customer, and they'll still recommend you. They'll still prefer other people to you. But, being accountable, doing the tough things is something that is a must to grow your business, and just be that disciplined person.
Well, I think it, like, because I've been struggling with this. Like, one of the things that, like, in my entrepreneurial journey, like from when I left California to like landing in Georgia to like accomplish these things and take on these tasks, I think a lot of times that people, when they do take action for the first time and they do tell people about it, and they say, hey, I'm going to do A to Z and we're going to fucking conquer this. And all of a sudden, like, you get into like the 3 or 4 steps of what you need to do to like go and try and get to A, B, or C step, in order to get to, step Z, they fail, or they give up, or they don't like what they're doing, or like they're like, whoa, shit, this is not what I expected. I feel like it goes both ways in the sense of like it's okay to like say you're going to do something and say that you're going to go and accomplish something and you put it out there in the world and all of a sudden shit isn't going right. Like take the accountability to like say, hey, like I just can't do this. Like this isn't me. This isn't, and don't feel guilty about those certain things. I've put myself in positions where like I'm like, oh, I'm doing this, this, and this, and we're going to fucking conquer this shit. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, fuck, I don't want any part of that, like at all. Like, I don't, like, holy crap, like that shit. You and I have had conversations about it. And I'm like, fuck, like this isn't me. I can't keep going and live on myself. Because if you do, you're not going to be accountable to yourself. So be accountable to like your customers, accountable for your business, and accountable for your spouses and your whatevers. But also, most importantly, like make sure you're accountable to yourself and be okay with it.
Yeah, and it can be tough, right? Because like you said, a lot of people will do that. They'll put that out in the world, right? Put on social media or whatever, tell people about it. And then you have that fear of, oh my gosh, what are people going to think? What are people going to say? Because you decide you don't want to do that anymore. The biggest thing that I always, when I had, those things is those thoughts of just like, hey, all those people, they're just on the sidelines. They're not getting in the game. They're not taking the action. They didn't do the thing, like when I had my store, that was a thing, after 6 months, I did close it down and it's because of a different job. But at the same time, looking back, I did it, right? I did that thing. I went through the whole process, had that experience. So I always take away, even though it was only for 6 months, I did all that stuff of that experience of having a store, going through everything, selling, buying stuff, selling stuff. So, it's okay to get into something and think that it's going to all be great, realize it's not, and then realize it's not even what you want to do, because that's you'll find that that excitement goes away, right? And then all of a sudden now you're in it for real, and then you have to decide, are you going to keep pushing through or you're going to quit, and obviously you don't want to quit. Most people don't. You don't want to be known as a quitter. If you do it too many times, then it's like, this guy's never doing it. But the I guess long way around to say, just you took action and at least you did it. Whether it was, sign it wasn't for you, whatever, you took that action to do that step, because so many people won't even do that, those steps. So they'll plan it out like we talked about and have their list of 8. They have their whole list and just, the time's not right. The time's not right. The time is never going to be right. You just got to fucking do it. It's as simple as that.
Oh, it's because it's never the right time. Trust me. As soon as you think it's the right time, something's going to pop up and just absolutely kick you right in the nuts. And you're going to be like, oh, I didn't fucking see that one coming. Like, I didn't plan that to show up. And then you're going down this road like, this is kind of bumpy. Like, and it's supposed to be that way. Fuck, that sometimes the worst times are some of the best times. Especially in the beginning. Shoot, it's I'm fucking doing it again. It's like, it seems like I enjoy this pain of fucking accountability and fucking just rolling through it. And yeah, I agree.
But yeah, you got to enjoy the process, because that's where it's really just enjoy that process. And like I said, enjoy the bumpy road, enjoy one day everything's fucking, you're kicking ass and taking names. Next day is freaking lonely. The phone's not ringing, no text messages, no people wanting your stuff, whatever it is. So you just got to be able to ride the waves. And like we were talking about too, though, on the other podcast about, buying business, starting that business and going through all that process, you're more invested in it, you're going to do more with it. And it's, like I said, that's, I think, a lot of the enjoying that process. Then you'll really enjoy when you get to that success of it. Because it is all about that process of building it one customer at a time, making your product or service, whatever, is improving it over time, because, you get more experience with what you're doing. So yeah, really just enjoy the process and take that action.
Absolutely. Well, let's wrap it up with that, man. It's I think this was a good show. We started off a little crazy. That's for damn sure. It's which is fun though, which is good, which keeps it fucking light. It's so if you guys are listening, guys, gals, whoever, listening to this either on a podcast, let us know. Please leave a review. Leave a review. If you leave a review and share this out with someone that you think might need it, that helps us tremendously. We don't have any sponsors yet. I assume we're going to get one here shortly because we're now a podcast officially. But you know, with that being said, I mean, let's wrap it at that.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Bring a friend, tell someone about it. Yeah, and get out there and take some action.
Bring your podcast buddy. Is that not a good nickname for our? What do we call the listeners of the show? Nate, you have any suggestions?
Man, we can call them what the podcast is. You action takers out there.
Yeah, there you go.
It's about power. We stay hungry, we devour. Put in the work, put in the hours, and take what's ours.